Oh, it's good. Yeah, we just call them just days now.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
realized as soon as I was going to ask which day, like I should just call them days because who knows what it is at this point.
yeah. It's like, oh, what a weekend. It's like that was 2 days ago.
That's bad. But yeah, what have you been up to?
I've been doing lots of writing. My wife and I have been doing live broadcasts for our band Pontiac Bandit, and they've been getting progressively better and better. There's more people watching as we keep it going, and it's really cool. Like it actually feels like there's people in the living room with you, and it definitely helps with the isolation for sure.
Amazing. Yeah, it's nice to have some human interaction, even if it is over the internet.
Yeah, I can't imagine if this happened. Like we're very lucky to have all the technology that we do to kind of keep us connected right now, because otherwise it would be a little more, definitely more challenging.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm pretty thankful that we got the things in place that we do, because yeah, I'd definitely be losing my mind at this point if not.
Yeah, if we didn't have Netflix, I don't know how many books I'd actually be reading or
Yeah,
card
and I
games
I
to
would
play.
never know about the Tiger King.
Yeah. Isn't that awful?
Amazing. Cool. So yeah, you guys have launched with Pontiac Bandit. You've been doing every Sunday. You're doing a live cast there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you tell me about how those have been going? Those are super cool. I've been enjoying them. But for anybody who hasn't been watching them, can you kind of tell us about that a little?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So we, as a group, we have like a handful of originals, so we play those every show. And then we take a lot of requests from the previous show and learn those throughout the week. So we learn a bunch of covers and try to do them in our own style a little bit. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been challenging, but in like a really cool way. And we have nothing but downtime to learn these songs. So like we did like an acoustic version of Gob, which turned out really well. And so we're basically just like building our repertoire of covers anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good. I think we had like 60 people watching on Easter Sunday, which we were pretty excited about. We didn't know if people were going to be too busy cooking dinner and whatnot, but I think we hit it right at the right time in the day at 3 p.m. and it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Well, do you want to play us some music here, and I'll shut up for a little while.
Yeah, sounds good.
Fantastic.
A handful of new ones that I have, so none of these have been recorded yet, but probably give it a couple weeks and there'll be a new EP coming out because I'm starting to figure out my gear a little bit better. So this one's a country tune called "Look After Mine."
Amazing.
Get by borrowed time, live life borrowed dime. Ain't about to get in line soon. Well, tell me what you think. Think a load of one more drink makes feelings start to sink through. Well, I recognize all the lies that I tell to myself. Do you realize time is flying right up the shelf? Might not be a pretty picture, but I think I'm doing fine. You just look after your own stuff, and I'll look after mine. Mm-hmm. When I had fell in love, there's not much else to thinking of. She's my angel from above, it's true. And I've had a lot of luck. I can still be happy when life's tough. Ain't giving no more to you. Well, I recognize all the lies that I tell to myself. Do you realize time to fly right off the shelf. Might not be a pretty picture, but I think I'm doing fine. You just look after your own stuff, and I'll look after mine. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice, man. We're still getting a little bit of lag here, actually. Now that we're live here.
Okay. Is it sounding okay then?
We're getting a little bit choppy. I'm wondering if there's anything we can do about this.
Stupid phones, man. Maybe I don't know. Maybe if I like muffle it with a toque. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I have no idea. My only suggestion would be to move it, but we already did that one. So yeah, maybe we'll see if the toque trick works here for us.
Yeah, and maybe you won't be able to hear anything. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe this is a genius solution. Who knows? Yeah, so we had that issue on the first stream that we did. We used a laptop, and it was super choppy.
Right.
And then we used the iPad, which was great. But then, like I said, the iPad it didn't update properly or something, so it wouldn't accept the. There we go, StreamYard.
Right.
Oh, right.
Let's see if this toque does the trick.
What's that?
Well, we'll see if this toque does the trick. Hopefully, that's our savior here.
Yeah, a little MacGyver action. Yeah, so that's like a new country tune. I wrote that when I was on tour in the States. Kind of a John Prine feel to it. R.I.P.
Yeah, that's a pretty recent one there. Hey, is he an artist who has influenced you in your writing a lot?
Yes, because my uncles used to play a lot of John Prine, and so when I first started learning songs, I learned a bunch of his, but I didn't play them properly because I'd only heard my uncles play them, and then I kind of did my own versions of it. But it definitely influenced my songwriting, and I think like a lot of people, I'm starting to listen to more of him now. Now that I realize what we've lost, kind of thing. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll let you get back to the music playing here.
Yeah, here's another little country ditty called "Playing with Fire." Last week got burned so bad, but I'm still playing with fire. I got some sleep to relearn what I had, and it brought me up a little higher. Life is present, life is kind. All of heaven's in my mind. Last week got burned so bad, but I'm still playing with fire. Broken trust to fill up your lungs. I'm a believer, still. I'm in control of what I become, and I'll get stronger. I will. Life is present, life is kind. All of heaven's in my mind. Life is patience, life is fine. Revelations take some time. Last week got burned so bad. So playing with fire. Yeah.
Nice. We're unfortunately still cutting out a little bit here. I feel like yeah, we're missing some of your beautiful song, which is unfortunate.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how to fix this one here.
Maybe like I have this thing kind of like boosting some of the volume, so maybe that I'll get rid of that. Maybe that'll help.
Maybe. Yeah, it's we're just kind of like it's just kind of cutting out at some points for some reason there.
Yeah, it's funny. I've noticed with like at least half of the live streams that I've seen, like from everyone online, that tends to happen. Like it caps out, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
it's something I don't think the world was prepared for this many live casts going on at once.
I don't think so. Yeah,
I feel like everybody's gonna have this technology by the end of it, but yeah, most people it's yeah, it's been a struggle, and we
in and
even
out. Yeah.
for this we tested out so many programs before like we landed on this one, which seemed to work, but it's still yeah, it's still got the issues like this one every once in a while.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So any kids watching, I didn't just say that.
So yeah, maybe I'll jump into some questions here for a little bit, and if anybody, if any of the watchers do have any questions, feel free to ask them. Uh, oh, I've got a comment here actually from Connor. Hey Connor, thank you for tuning into these. Says, hey Alex, super excited for this stream. I listened to your music today on Spotify, and I may or may not have cried to your song the last few weeks.
Hey, that's adorable. Thank you.
What can you tell us about that song for anybody who hasn't heard it?
I wrote that song years ago. I think we're looking at 8 to 10 years now, and I just always thought it was. I re-recorded it about a year ago because I always thought it had a chance to be maybe picked up by another artist or um, could be kind of a hit. And it's just one of those songs that just like it just rolled off the tongue. I was pretty bummed out in my relationship at the time. It wasn't very healthy, and so I wrote that song as a catharsis, and I think it turned out pretty well. It's just like a pretty simple song, but because it was cathartic and just kind of just came right out, it's a very honest song. So I hope that's why it resonates with a lot of people.
Awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about your songwriting process? How, especially when you're doing your stuff or the Pontiac Bandit stuff. What's kind of like what's the process? Are you starting with the lyrics? Are you starting with the music? Like, is there anything anywhere in particular you look for inspiration?
A lot of the time, it comes from just fiddling around on the guitar. I used to write when I first got started out. I used to write lyrics and then try to squeeze those into a song. And I found that you could always kind of tell that you were doing that. You were trying to squeeze it in, and so I find it more natural and organic now when I start with the guitar and then some kind of phrase will pop into my head. Even if that's not the phrase I end up using, by the time the song's completed, it kind of comes up with a melody or a cadence to it. And then I can kind of plug in the lyrics after the fact. So I think having written poetry before gives me an edge or an advantage when I'm doing that because I can just it's a little easier to kind of plug them in. But yeah, I always start with the guitar, some sort of riff, some sort of melody will just kind of pop in after a while.
Cool. Yeah, you just mentioned doing the poetry. I know you're a very multi-talented artist. You do you do the writing. You also do a lot of graphic design and artwork and that kind of stuff. Can you tell me about how doing all those creative things kind of ties together into your music?
Oh, for sure. I do a lot of my graphic design. Starting out in punk and hardcore bands, we would all design our own show posters because we never had any money to hire someone else to do it. And even if we did, we would have spent it on Old English and PBR and whatnot. So it was just something that was kind of learned because I had to do it. And again, I've been doing that for 15 years. And then once I started doing more solo stuff, I went to Harris Institute and they actually taught a course on Adobe Illustrator. So I got to learn the ropes of that a little bit. And I mean, I was awful when I started it because I was used to literally cutting newspapers and taping them onto a sheet and then taking that to the library and making 50 copies of it. So I was pretty basic in my approach to it. But like anything, the more practice makes perfect. And yeah, so I've been doing that for quite a few years. I'm at a point now where other artists are asking me to do design for them, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I think it's important as an artist too, even if you're hiring someone else to kind of have some direction or some sort of control over what your imagery is going to be. Mine seems to be all over the place, but I'm also all over the place, so it fits. A lot of people have said when they see a poster or a graphic design that I've made, they know it's my stuff. I've kind of got a distinct style there now. So
That's super cool. Yeah, and that's nice that you have a lot more control over like not only what everybody's hearing, but what, like all the visual things that everybody is associating with everything that you do, which I feel is, you know,
yeah,
makes your whole brand and your whole everything just a lot more authentic.
yeah. And if you know, even with my band Campground, we're like, we want to release this by this date. We're not waiting for someone to get back to us with artwork. We're not, you know, consulting anyone. It's just like, okay, these are the mock-ups that I have. Which one do you guys like? And then we can go full steam ahead at our own pace.
I love that. Yeah, you may not be doing the cut and copy posters anymore, but it sounds like you still got the DIY punk, you know, ethic going forward with everything as much
It
as it's
definitely
evolved.
still is, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a good way to be. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So I want to remind anybody watching that if you guys want to send any tips over to Alex, you can do that at quarantinesongs.com. We've got that set up for all the artists on these shows, so that's there if anybody wants to do that. And yeah, if you want to play us a couple more songs here, Alex, see if this is working any better.
Yeah, for sure. So this next one I actually wrote. I got hired to play in a haunted house just over a year ago, and they asked me to write and perform a song in a haunted house at 2 o'clock in the morning to increase the poltergeist activity. So this is a song that I wrote for ghosts in a haunted mansion in Gananoque. It's called "Talk Me Down." All alone in this empty house, nothing to comfort you but cries. Take it slow, not making out. You get lost in the middle as it's your alibi. I haven't done enough living to know the score. Oh, but lately I can't take it anymore. Talk me down. I know your name, I never know your name. You just bottle it up and take it on the road. Cause we're the same and we're losing days. So whatever is keeping you, just let it go. I've done enough living to know the score. Oh, but lately I can't take it anymore. Talk me down. Talk me down. done enough living to know the score. But lately I can't take it anymore. So talk me down. So talk me down. So talk me down.
Nice.
That sounded any better?
We're still clipping a little bit, unfortunately.
God dang it.
That's okay. Maybe I can ask you some questions and we'll get you in here another time when we got our stuff figured out more here. Sorry, yeah, I should have done a more advanced sound check before we went in here, I suppose. So that's on me.
No, I put too much faith in the iPad, so yeah. Well, we're like you said, we're all learning, and a lot of these platforms aren't necessarily equipped to deal with this this style, I suppose. Like this is on my phone right now, so it's definitely not
Yeah,
stupid
quality. That's cool. Well, why don't we have a little chat about music? And yeah, maybe I'll if you're down for it, we can get you in another day and maybe have you play some tunes and we can hear them a little bit better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. Like I said, I got nothing but time these days, so I'd love to. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, if anybody's got questions, definitely ask them because we're gonna be in the Q&A period now.
Yeah. And thank you again, Connor, if you're still watching. That was really nice to hear from you. That's cool.
Yeah. Connor's been tuning a lot of these. Really appreciate the support there. So that's yeah, awesome of him. Yeah, with your music, I know it's it's come a long way. I believe you're from Gananoque originally, right?
Gananoque, yeah.
Gananoque, awesome. Yeah, right place. I just pronounced it completely wrong. What brought you over to Toronto?
So it was following music initially, and that's why I stayed. Gananoque is 5,500 people. We had like a really solid music scene there, punk and hardcore, but there wasn't a lot of opportunity for growth. And Kingston was great. Kingston Punk Productions were very supportive, and they still are quite supportive with my my music and stuff. But Toronto seemed like a great place to go and kind of bust my chops and try my best to make it, quote unquote. And so I ended up going to school for recording arts management in Toronto. And it was great. I lived in Toronto off and on for 10 years and had a lot of great opportunities. A lot of them were simply just organic, like even you and I meeting, I think it was at North by Northeast, which if you don't live in Toronto is, more challenging to get to. It's a whole week. There's a lot of panels. You got to have a place to stay. So a lot of those opportunities just came up from literally running into people in venues on the street. And it's been great. And then my wife and I decided to move to Hamilton because I got rent evicted, again, quote unquote, and just really couldn't afford to stay in Toronto in a place that, that would be good for the both of us. So we decided Hamilton for the same reason. Like it's got a great musicians community, great access to the city. And so far it's been really rewarding. It's been really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. How are you liking Hamilton opposed to Toronto now that you've been there for a little bit?
It's good. It's actually, we've described it as a very big, small town. It's very close knit kind of vibe to it, and definitely reminiscent of Barrie, where Em is from, and Kingston, which is right next to Gananoque. Very similar, like blue collar towns with a great art scene. And yeah, like we've been here for 8 months now, I think, and we're still, because we were just kind of getting back on our feet when we moved here. We haven't really played any shows since we've gotten here, but we've definitely made a lot of really, genuine contacts. And I think, assuming that we can all get back out this summer or the fall, that it's going to be some cool stuff happening.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, let's hope that we can get music back going by fall.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's
Cool.
improve the sound quality on these
Awesome. So I got a few questions here for you. Oh, I want to stop and say hi to Diane. She's in here, huge music supporter. What
Hi,
questions I
Dave.
got here for you? Kim McKeag says, Alex, what is your favorite cover to do? What is your favorite style of music to cover?
Oh, hi, Kim. My favorite style of music to cover can really, I guess, like I like to cover anything, but the style that it ends up being would be like folky, Americana, kind of country. I like boiling down songs like to their essence, and it's a really good way to determine how good a song is. If you can play it just acoustic, vocal, and it still comes through, then that's a sign of a well written song.
Nice. Yeah, you mentioned a couple times you used to be doing a lot of the punk stuff. What kind of drove you in this more folky direction? Is it just that the fact that if it's down to the bare bones and you can hear the song, that's a good song for you, or what kind of took you this way?
So I started out just doing just me and my acoustic. That's how I played for 2 years. No one really heard me though. I was just kind of rehearsing in my bedroom in Gananoque, and I was told I sounded like crap. But keep practicing, and then by the time I sort of had built the confidence to start playing, I had already made a bunch of friends that liked punk and hardcore, and we started a band, and then really just kind of dove headfirst into that scene for 3 or 4 years, and that was my primary goal, was with the band and what we can do with the scene and putting on shows for other bands. And then once that all sort of started to die out a little bit, I came back to this, and it's like, well, maybe I could actually give this a go. And then I just the same thing, just like dove head first, and it's been my modus operandum. I don't know if that's my MO ever since, basically.
Nice, nice,
Yeah.
cool. Another question here for you. Shannon wants to know what your favorite quarantine activity is, and if you've learned any new skills during this.
Oh, uh, definitely cooking a lot more, because I've always enjoyed cooking. I work in restaurants, and I've been very inspired by a lot of the chefs that I've worked with. But now I actually have the time to spend all day cooking, which is pretty cool. So doing a lot more like crock pot stuff. We're doing a burger challenge tomorrow that a friend did. So like made from scratch burgers, which I've never done before. So I'm excited to do that. And what was the second part of the question? But
If you learned any new skills.
oh, not really. No, can't say I have. I'm trying to. I've actually, you know what? I've been making more electronic music on my laptop.
Oh,
Same thing. I have more time. I'm not just doing it when I get home from work. I can kind of spend all day and come back to it, kind of let it rest, and then come back. So I think I'm improving my electronic music making skills.
cool. Right on. That's a good skill to have.
Yeah.
That kind of ties into this one. As there's a genre question for you. Benjamin's asking: is writing a punk song different than writing a folk song?
No, surprisingly enough. Kind of to go back to what I said before, I think a good song is a good song regardless of genre. And if you have a message that you want to get out, they're both great avenues to do so. And folk and punk are actually very similar in the communities that surround them, and the way that they approach doing shows and building that community. They're very close knit, and I think like the main difference would be the pacing. So like I could do, and it's kind of one and the same. Yeah, that's why I think folk was very endearing to me, and has been, because it's a DIY community, just like just like the punk community. So
Absolutely, yeah, it's funny. Like musically, they seem like they should be so far apart, but they're actually like they're very similar as genres.
yeah, and a lot of the bands that we played with back in the day that was like very hardcore screaming bands eventually transitioned into like under different names, but they eventually transitioned into folk and country.
Right.
They're very honest genres. So yeah.
Awesome. That was a great question, a great answer. I cool. So I've got something I want to show people here before I ask you a question about it, but we've got something new that we just got up here with we're just talking about Alex's artwork here, and this is a brand new shirt that we got up on the website. 100% of the profits from all of the merch during this COVID is going to the artist. So if anybody wants to pick up a pretty awesome new shirt, that's all going to be going to supporting the artist. Yeah, can you tell us about Stay Home? I love the artwork, love the music. This is something new that just came out. Can you tell us about it?
Thank you. Yeah. So that actually it's me kind of combining my electronic music with my folky stuff. Um, Quite a bit. Like one of the songs on the EP is just a straight electronic instrumental song called "Stay Home," which I thought was appropriate. And yeah, the other two songs were ones that I've had for a couple of years that I've just tried to sort of breathe new life into. And I found if I could bring in these synth elements and stuff, it kind of it just sounded cool. And I was worried about doing it because a lot of my stuff that's already online is like mainly folky country kind of stuff. And then I thought of David Bowie, who said like just do it, like just don't care about what other people are going to think about it. Just if it sounds good to you, if it's fun, just put it out. So I just did. Yeah.
Nice.
The artwork is just basically me in quarantine. So I've got a beer, I've got my pipe in front of me, I got a coffee. I'm wearing a dress shirt and a red tie, and beside me is a cricket bat as a homage to Shaun of the Dead. And then to my right and the left of the picture is Baby Tiger as an homage to Tiger King, which was quite a show to watch. It kept us very entertained for the first few days of quarantine.
Yeah, what a time for that to come out.
Yeah, apparently there's a new episode coming out. I don't know.
Oh, it's terrible. It's not worth your time.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah. I was super excited for it. That show is just such a hot mess that I was like, oh man, if there's one more, like I'm down to watch this. But I regret it. It's one of those things where like if I would have never seen it, I could just imagine that it was good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think they're at the money grab section at this point of the series. Oh man, cool. Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about your last Pontiac Bandit video. That office themed Jim and Pam video that you put out. Oh man, that was
So we wrote that song about a year ago because we're both just massive fans of The Office, and we wanted to write a love song about the characters in the first couple seasons when they're still kind of figuring things out, which is when it was most interesting, to be honest. And we wrote it. We figured out a way to make it a duet. And then a few months ago, we realized that March 24th, 2020 was the 15-year anniversary of The Office airing in the US. So we're like, we got to get this recorded. Our friend and producer John Orson came over to our apartment. We laid it down. And then 2 weeks later, we did like guerrilla filmmaking. We went to the Hamilton Library and just showed up and then asked if we could sit behind their desk and just kind of I think we spent 6 or 8 hours one day just walking around Hamilton filming. Probably cost us about $200 on like props and beers basically, and we're really happy we're really happy with the way it turned out, and we're very happy with the response that we've gotten so far.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember it was probably I guess last summer at some point you were telling me you were working on like an office theme thing. And then when I saw that release and watched the video, I was like I don't know. That was like, I always expect your stuff to come out great, but that was just like, that really got me right in the heartstrings. You know, I'm a big Office fan too, so to like see that music video like along with your guys' music and the song was really yeah, it was fantastic. I'm a huge fan of that video. You guys did an amazing job.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think back when I talked to you before, I was like, oh, like we're gonna have to like rent out this office and like all this big production and stuff. And then of course when the deadline started to approach, I was like, fuck it. We're taking my DSLR and we're just gonna figure it out as we go along. So
yeah. Well, yeah, it turned out great. Like it had the vibes of The Office, you know, which I think, yeah, you guys doing it that way really led to that, which was yeah, super cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun making the Jello.
Nice. Yeah. Do you guys? What else? What else is coming up? You're saying you got some new music coming out soon. What? Can you give us any? What are the words I'm looking for? Any information, I guess, on what's coming out soon? Any little sneak previews of what's in your?
Yeah,
life?
I think the next one will be similar to an EP I released about a year ago, which was just recorded live off the floor when I was on tour. It's like very folky country, and a lot of these songs I have are in that vein. I wrote half of them when I was in Nashville last year, and I'd like to kind of, as much as I enjoyed combining the electronic components, I think I'd like to just do one that's kind of like live off the floor, simple kind of acoustic folky stuff. It'll be 6 or 7 songs, and yeah, I hope it turns out well. Again, I'm doing it myself, which I'm because I'm hearing impaired. I prefer to hire someone to come in so they can kind of pick up on nuances that maybe I'm missing. But I think my confidence level is getting a little bit better with that, so I feel ready to take on the challenge. And yeah, I'm gonna hopefully create some really dope artwork for it again too.
Awesome. Can't wait to see and hear it. We got some more comments going on here. Here's from Kim. What's your favorite uncommon duet that's been done?
Oh, that's quite the question. Uncommon duet. Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow.
That's a good answer.
It's a really good song, and like I don't know how accurate it is, but I remember at the time I was like, wait, Kid Rock can do like, he can actually sing and he can do like a country song, and it's a really well written like Nashville song. So I'd say that one. That was kind of the first one I was like, oh shit.
It doesn't seem like it should be good, but somehow it is.
It's just really well done. Yeah. Again, really well written song. So
yeah. Kim also says Pontiac Bandit for life.
Yay! Thanks, Kim.
I've got a question too from Ryan Cook. Hey Ryan. He said, hi Alex. Have you met many famous rockers? Any good stories? Rock on, brah.
Oh. I have, but nothing really comes to mind as like a really good story. The only one that comes to mind is I worked on a music video for City and Color. Back in the day, when I was going to school, they needed volunteers to basically be gophers on set and, you know, gaffers and stuff like that. So me and a friend, it's actually how I met how my drummer and I became really good friends. We hung out for 16 hours that day. He was doing the audio. And yeah, I like walked up to him when he was on lunch, and I gave him my CD, and he was super nice about it. And, you know, nothing ever came of it, but he was very polite, and I cornered him, so it was nice of him to be polite, and it was really cool to like kind of see that side of it. And funny enough, the video never got released like on MTV or anything. They just put it on YouTube. It's for the girl, and they put everybody's name that was there that day. They put all their names in the credits and like the back end of the music video.
Nice.
When people don't believe me, I can show them the video and point it out.
That's awesome. That's a cool credit to have.
Yeah. Oh, and I also met the Hound from Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah?
I ran into him at the Dakota Tavern.
Oh, crazy.
yeah, he was just hanging out, and I was like,
Nice.
he was also super polite. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's pretty awesome. We got Binge Ninja in here asking, what is the status of the flood?
Oh, so the flood is basically we're called Campground now. So we changed our name about a year into us doing our project. It just didn't feel right because it was called Alex and the Flood, and we felt more cohesive as a unit. So we wanted something that represented us as a group and not just me and the group. Um, and the Flood was something that I used for a previous solo release many years before that, because I had a bunch of friends come into the studio and I wanted to give them a name. So long story short, we're called Campground now. We have lots of stuff online and on Spotify now. You can check it out.
Nice. Can you tell us about Campground?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen each other in a while. We're pretty bummed out about that, but we have 2 more singles that are ready to release. So we'll come up with some release strategy for those. And the most recent advancement with the band is we've decided that we're going to dress up for shows now. So we all dress up like Cub Scouts, which is pretty cool. It's
Nice.
kind of like it's a shtick, but it works, and it's a lot of fun for us to dress up and have our patches, and I wear a big brimmed hat and everything.
That's awesome. This is a show I gotta get out to when it's happening again.
What's that?
This is a show I gotta get out to when it's happening again.
Yeah, exactly. I think it gives us like a new level of confidence or something.
Nice.
But I miss my bandmates, and we're gonna have like an online happy hour with them later tonight. So
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So if anybody's got more questions, we're probably wrapping this up pretty soon. But back to the Rockstar thing. I'm assuming you have met some, or even without the stories. You were down in Nashville for a while doing your music there. Can you tell me about the Nashville trip?
Yeah, I lived there for a month. I got an Airbnb and got my visa, and then I just hustled as much as I could. So I'd wake up and make breakfast, and then I'd take a bus downtown and find any open mics that were happening that night. And I just did that like 6 nights a week. Then I get burnt out, take a day of rest, and then do it all over again. And I ran into a lot of people that met a lot of people that have written some big songs, but can't remember their name because we met at like 1:30 in the morning and tried to get a meeting set up, and it didn't happen. But the best part was I got engaged. We got engaged in Nashville. Em came to visit me for a few days, and we had a really cool trip to go and see this old country band. And then the second best thing was, actually the third best thing. So my family came to visit me as well. Was meeting up with a couple of musicians that we just really hit it off, and just randomly meeting at open mics. And then we decided to do some co-writes and wrote and recorded an EP when we were down there.
Nice.
It turned out really well. Basically.
How's the environment down there? You know, I've heard a lot of people tell me, you know, when they've went down to Nashville for music, that it's a totally different thing than Toronto, and music is almost in the air down in Nashville.
Most people you meet, like the first thing that kind of rolls off your tongue is like, "Hey, do you want to do a co-write?" And there's definitely some like Sharky elements to it, because music is so prominent there. It's bound to happen. But I found it really inspiring and enriching to be there and meet everyone, because they're all doing the same thing. So most of us are just like stoked to be there and stoked to meet and listen to other musicians, and it's all like reciprocated. So it was really cool. I had some very heartwarming moments down there. Very supportive people that I had just met a few minutes prior. So
nice.
It's a cool city. Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. We got Matt throwing up a bunch of horns here for you.
Thanks, Matt.
And Ryan's got another question for you. He says, "What's your favorite '90s album?"
Mostly Playground, 100%.
Nice. That was a quick answer. You had that one prepared.
Oh, I love it. It's super underrated album. Everybody thinks Sex and Candy was the best song on there, and it's not even close.
That's funny. That was the only song that I knew by them for the longest time, and then I heard that album. I was like, holy shit! Like, that's yeah. People are missing out on on this band for sure, and just like
So
yeah.
well done. Then backup answer to that would be Presidents of the United States of America for
Nice.
Ryan.
Nice. Got to get them peaches.
That's right.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm think I'm running out of questions for you pretty soon here. I would really love if we could get some music. What are the chances we could try doing something with you even slightly farther away from the camera?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna. So we'll do one more, and this is a song on the EP that I was just talking about.
Nice.
On the Stay Home EP. Oh, I'll scoot to the way. Also, I hope my phone doesn't die. Oh, gotta get the toque back on there. Maybe. Okay. The toque's not happening. This song's called Monster. So I guess I'm a monster. I'm fine, just like others. Taking all the fun out of, taking all the fun, taking all the fun out of, taking all the fun out of love. I'll try just to remember good times in that September. Taking all the fun out of, taking all the fun, taking all the fun out of, taking all the fun out of love.
Nice. That was a little bit better with the ukulele.
God damn it. We'll get it next time. We're gonna crush it.
Yeah. This'll be excellent. Yeah. That's this has been fun. Thanks a lot for jumping on here. And we'll like I was saying, we'll do a reschedule and we'll get some more music and less questions on the next one.
Sounds good. I like the questions though. I'm a chatty fella, so
awesome. That's good. Yeah, we actually we filled up pretty much a whole hour, which is how long they normally are, and that was us talking. So we I thought that went pretty okay, even without the songs. This was a lot of fun, and you're a great dude to get to chat to. You've got a lot of great insights on things. So this was this is great.
Thanks, man. It's almost like we get along or something.
Almost. Cool. So I'm.
Well, yeah, thank you so much, Jesse. Thank you for everyone for watching. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. And I've got a little clip to end on here. It's from your music video for Jailbird. Can you tell us a little bit about that before we head out of here?
Yeah. So I recorded that EP when I was on tour, which was I did 30 shows across Canada in 2 months. And so whenever I tour, I just go solo. I sleep in the car. It's just me. So I bring my DSLR and I pretty much film everything that I can. And there's a few clips where you can tell like I'm just kind of getting a little loopy because I've been by myself for so long and sleeping in a parking lot. And I chose that song because it has this kind of, it's a fast pace. It's kind of a fun kind of Americana tune. And I thought it would kind of show the pace of the shows. And so, yeah, like most of the clips are just me at different pubs and restaurants all along the East Coast. And then there's a bunch of clips of me sleeping in my car and it's getting kind of wacky. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Let's talk about that too before you leave here. Because yeah, I've done the same thing many times. You know, you're doing the tour, but until you're a big artist, that's what you got to do. You're sleeping in your car or whatever couch you can find. And people think it's a pretty luxurious thing, you know, to go touring. And people would say all the time, like, "Oh man, you're so lucky to be touring," but it's there's a lot of sacrifices involved. And artists like you going through that, can you kind of tell me why it makes it worth it for you, not knowing where you're going to sleep the next day and sleeping in your car and, you know, just being on the road by yourself? Like, why is music worth so much to you that you're going to put yourself through that crazy adventure?
The payoff is that for me is that every gig that I get to, it's like, man, this is so cool. I'm playing in St. John, New Brunswick, and you know, I'm not here that often, and there's a full restaurant of people listening to me, and like, there's a lot of opportunities that come with it that if you don't kind of put yourself in that position, you just don't get that opportunity. So it's very adventurous, and even though like it's definitely a grind, like you're driving for 12 hours at a time, that's not necessarily fun, but the payoff is it's always worth it. And same with when I was talking about like being in Toronto, like just the organic opportunities that came up running into people. You meet so many more people and have all these other opportunities and you know learn about these other musicians, and it's cool. I'm like I'd get to the most cities, I'd get there like 5 or 6 hours early just so I could walk around, and like you don't really get that opportunity to just be a tourist with nothing to do, like with no agenda other than to go play a gig that night. So it's yeah, it's really cool. I definitely have the itch to go back. It's been a while since I've done a big tour. That was 2018. Oh no, my phone's down.
Okay, it looks like we might have lost Alex there on that beautiful pose that he's got for us. Thank you again to everybody for tuning in. We got the site set up if you want to send any tips for Alex. We also got the brand new stay-at-home merch, which is very appropriate for the times. Yeah, I'm gonna exit out on this music video that he shot here. Thank you everybody tuning in. Thank you, Alex, and yeah, hope everybody has a good night. We'll be back at this tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. If you want to tune back in, I'll see you guys there.
I'm gonna sing 'em like a jay.